Life is a wonderful thing. It always finds a way to exist, and only needs clean water, food, and shelter. These are the essentials for life. However, climate change will be the leading cause to disrupt these resources and the way of life the human race is currently living. The natural environment is losing some of its natural species due to the changing climate. The loss of land will result in the loss of agriculture in some areas, leaving many more people hungry. I'm here with the Chief Scientist from CSIRO, John Senna, who will tell us about the cause of climate change. It is known by the scientific community that the climate is changing because of the increase in greenhouse gases in our atmosphere. These greenhouse gases are well known for absorbing and trapping heat energy. These greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Now, where do these gases come from? These gases come from simply breathing, to driving your car, producing the food we eat, and even charging your phone from a coal-fired power plant. Now you may be wondering, what is a climate, and why should it matter to me? Climate is the amount of rainfall, temperature, and other weather events a certain area receives each year. It is averaged out and is seen as an oscillating system. Climate affects everyone and everything, directly and indirectly. The food we grow for human consumption is affected by the changing climate, where higher temperatures can't grow certain varieties in the areas they once flourished, where too much rain is falling in some areas and not enough in others. Our oceans affect the weather patterns. The temperature of the ocean determines the weather events on land. For example, hurricanes and cyclones are formed over warm oceans. So if the climate is changing to a warmer temperature, it will create these superstorms and make them more powerful and frequent, which will affect residents and agriculture combined. Orange, New South Wales is known quite well for its cold, wet winters and its dry, hot summers. I'm here in Orange to speak with Cindy, who has been an Orange resident for over 40 years and also works for the primary industries and natural resources here.
I have lived in Orange since I was 5 years old. I have worked in the horticulture industry in one form or another for the past 25 years. I've been a part-time horticulture teacher for TAFE Western for 12 years. Orange, as a rule, has wet, cold winters and hot, dry summers. As a child, we used to get several reasonable heavy falls of snow every year. I can remember walking to school in the snow and roads being closed. If we were really lucky, the school would be closed. Now it's a rare occasion to have snow settle in town. When I first started work at a nursery in 1990 in Orange, we had regular heavy frosts in winter. These were often -5 degrees or lower and went day after day for weeks at a time. As with the snow, we used to have several frosts a year right to the treetops. This is now a very rare event. While we still get regular frosts, the temperatures aren't as low nor for as many days. Nurseries now sell plants that would never have grown in the cold temperatures, but now do very well here. Some species of Pittosporum, for example. First crops of figs were nearly always wiped out by frost, but now 2 crops a year is the norm. Summer veggies couldn't be safely planted until after Melbourne Cup Day in November, but now you can get away with mid-October. The TAFE Horticulture Campus has a study garden for the students with a larger variety of cold climate plants. Common warmer climate species such as yesterday, today and tomorrow have been regularly planted in a sheltered position and are treated as short-lived perennials. If they made it through the first winter, they would die the next year for sure. We now have had the same plants growing for 6 years. They still get frost damage, but not as severely, and recover quickly in the spring.
How does this affect agriculture in the area?
There is definitely less winter rain than there used to be. There are not as many days we are stuck indoors as years ago. With less rain, there is less moisture in the soil profile going into spring and summer. There is less runoff for water storage and less water leaching into the groundwater supplies. This in turn leads to more competition for resources. The town, agriculture and mining are all competing for this precious resource. Demand is increasing while the supply is decreasing. Tree crops such as cherries and apples suffer from lower water, and crops need more irrigation due to higher temperatures and less rainfall.
And now, how does this affect natural resources and the environment?
The main effect on natural resources is the reduction of water. less water for spring and summer stored in the soil, less runoff for storage in the town water supply and farm dams. In town and on 5-acre blocks, new bore licences have been stopped. There is much less water flow in local creeks and rivers than when I was a teenager. We used to swim and fish nearly every weekend through summer, and now the majority of the creeks have been reduced to a trickle, and in one case the creek hasn't flowed for years. Fish populations appear to have been reduced in the still flowing rivers as well. While I don't fish nearly as often as I used to, when I do I rarely catch a fish, but as a teenager I could guarantee a catch. And I haven't seen trout in the waterways for years.
Thank you, Cindy, for your time. There's another side to this story. People who see agriculture as its own worst enemy, because the businessmen and women in agriculture are contributing to the greenhouse gases. This may be true, however there is research being done by CSIRO to lower methane emissions on cattle and dairy properties by introducing new feed and grazing methods and implementing a carbon sink on the property itself using a variety of land management practices. People still believe climate change doesn't exist. This is because they do not understand the science and form uneducated theories. This doesn't help move the world forward to a sustainable future. As we have explored this very serious problem, we have discovered that a changing climate can be very dangerous. It can leave many people hungry, leave many homeless, humans and other animals alike. We see that our everyday choices contribute to our own destruction, and we have heard it straight from the front line. However, hope is not lost. We can become the best generation to walk on this earth. With the goals set for sustainability, we can become the change we wish to see in the world.